Everybody can see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it says the recording is going. It didn't say it, but it is. Good evening, Lions. We are so happy to have you with us tonight on our next Wisdom Wednesday. I was trying to think of another word for next, but it didn't happen. So here we are. Tonight we have an absolutely fabulous program for you, but for onboarding and orientation for our Lions. Yeah, preferably new Lions, but it's also an awesome refresher for our seasoned Lions. Our faculty tonight is just absolutely dynamic. We have Lion Susan Hurlburt, Lion Denise Laudenbach, and Lion Adam Hopkins. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to them for our program. Take it
Awesome.
away.
Thank you so much, Bruce, for the awesome introduction. And welcome everybody to Wisdom Wednesday. Well, you're probably wondering why we picked this topic. And it's one of the most requested topics that we've gotten feedback on at Lions USA for learning sessions. So, our goal tonight is to help you implement or enhance your onboarding strategies to increase member engagement, retention, and growth. Because let's face it, when people are having fun and being members of a club, it's easy to have member engagement, retention, and that growth piece. So, most of the audience that we've been finding in clubs when we are doing these orientations, and what we're hearing for feedback is that it consists of adult learners. So, facilitating an approach to that demographic, we need to emphasize experience sharing and practical takeaways. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we're wanting to help you make your club stronger, grow and build engagement, and of course, retention, um, which is so important. So, if you could in the chat right now, could you please type the name of your club and the district that you're from so that we can take a look at where everyone is joining from tonight? I'm from MD5M. Our district is 5M9, and my club is Nisswa. All right, we've got Washington State. Hey, I lived in Bellingham. Love it. Alaska, Wisconsin, Miami, Chesterfield, Idaho, Kentucky, Indianapolis. Fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us from all around CA1. And we're excited to jump right into this topic tonight. Adam.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to go on to the next slide, or is
Yep,
we
we
going to
are
leave it on
there.
that? Okay.
Slide two, we're on
Okay.
it. You
All
there.
right. Sorry about that. Well, so I'm Adam Hopkins, Lion Adam Hopkins. I'm from District 46 in Nevada, and I'm a member of the Reno Cigar Lions Club, where we give out computers to kids. So why are we talking about this? Well, it's from feedback from our prior sessions. Many Lions have come to us and said, you know what, we just don't have an onboarding program or a mentoring program, an orientation program, and or the one we do have is outdated. So we decided we would put this together, and hopefully this helps you with that. Because as we know, a strong onboarding process creates belonging and purpose. Now, as I was thinking about this slide, I was thinking, well, yeah, it does do that. But what I tend to think is really important is to understand why people are actually coming to us in the first place, understanding that they're looking for belonging and they're also looking for a purpose. I know that in my own case, I had a long career and I knew that I was retiring and I didn't want to be just sitting back and and being bored or watching TV, and you can only do so many projects. You can only remodel so many bathrooms while you're a district governor. So, I went out looking for something that was going to give me purpose, because I had given back to my community in a variety of ways, but always for pay. And now I want to do it in a way that gives me a real sense of belonging and helpfulness. So, real quick poll, just a show of hands. Does your club currently have a formal onboarding process? And I can't see everyone, but I would imagine so. I see a couple. Well, I can tell you that my club does not. And whose fault is that? Mine. So we're working on that. But there are some key points that I want you to think about and to take away from this. And it's a core truth. People stay in Lions when they feel, number one, useful. When we give them something to do, and that can be from the very first day. Give them something to do. It doesn't matter how big it is, just give them something. When they feel connected. So when you have a new member walking in and you haven't met them before, stand up from the table, get up from your chair and go and talk to them. Engage with them, ask them who they are, introduce yourself. They need to be proud of the impact. So they have to understand what the impact is. So you have to blow your own horn for your club. If your club is doing something wonderful, my club has given out 9,000 computers to local students. I'll tell you that I make sure that every new member understands that and the impact that that will make. So I blow my own horn as far as the club goes. And they have to feel aligned with the mission. Help them fully understand the mission of your club, the mission of Lions, the mission of your club, and how they can fit into that model. Next slide.
Hey, Adam, there's a question out there. What do you
Okay.
do when you offer it and they don't come?
When you offer
this orientation, but they don't come?
Well, you can't make them come. So it's a matter of, it's almost, it sounds a little derogatory, but I don't mean it to. You have to spoon feed them these things. And so you take every opportunity to pull them to the side. This is what I would do, and say, hey, you understand? Do you understand the hierarchy in the club? Do you understand why we have a board of directors, a meeting for that? Why do we take notes? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? You have to kind of spoon feed them and give them a taste. And once they understand what they're a part of, I get much better participation. Any other questions?
There was one other question earlier. Will we be sending out our slides that you're using today?
The slides we don't typically send out. We post the recording to our website. If more people want the slides, send me email. You can send it to education@lionsusa.org, or if you know my personal email address. And I also believe our faculty will post their emails at the end of this, where you can take a screenshot and request it. Thank you.
All right. So hi, everybody. I am Sue Hurlburt. I am council chair in 23A in Connecticut. And I am so happy to be here with you because my background in the outside world has been in human resources and onboarding and orientation. And over the years, because I'm really old, over the decades, I should say, it's really changed and it's become more interactive and positive and high energy. And part of our learning objectives today, we all really hope, Denise, Adam, and I, that you walk away with being able to do at least and understand at least 4 things. The first of which is understand the key elements of an effective onboarding and orientation process. Access the practical tools to implement at the club and district level, create a plan to engage, educate, and retain new members, and foster a welcoming culture that leads to leadership growth and sustainability. I'm all about fun, thinking outside the box, using service as a centric method to onboard and to orient. We look forward to exploring that through the next several slides, and know that we will be a resource for you at the end as well. And I'm going to kick this back to Denise.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, it's really interesting, the importance of onboarding. That old saying of first impressions take shape and its impact, and there's a lot to be said about that. So you have to make sure that that first impression is spot on. And members who feel connected early are more likely to stay and serve. And I want to share a story with you about one of the new members in our club. His name is Steve, and he's younger than our average age in our club is, I think, 72. And I'm getting closer and closer to that number every day, though, doggone it. But Steve is probably in his mid 40s ish, I would think, at the most, and has came in the door with a lot of energy. And we noticed right away, we meeting our club, noticed that he liked taking pictures. And then we noticed, hey, we think he's the guy that started this Facebook page in our community called Camp Niswa, and he's really good at social media. So at a few meetings in, we said, hey, would you want to share some of your pictures with us? And we can post them on our Facebook page for our club. And he said, sure. And then we waited a few more months. And then someone asked him, hey, Steve, do you want to be added to our administrative account for our Facebook page for our club and pop any message on that you ever really feel like doing? Sure. Well, then a couple months later, he actually raised his hand and said, could I be the marketing and communication person for your club? And so because we noticed right away his skill set and we opened the door, we didn't force him, we didn't ask him, we just noticed and had normal conversations. He said yes, and he got more and more involved, and he loves what he's doing, so much so that he is now going to be a presenter on a topic called, Hey, Are You Speaking to Me? Which is happening at one of our trainings within our state. So I share that with you, and that pay attention to those new members right out of the gate. See what they bring, what's their jam, what really excites them in life, and lean heavy into their personal skill set, because it can definitely be impactful for your club and for Lions. So there we go. So we just need to continue to onboard and bridge those gaps between joining and belonging. And the way to do that is holding somebody's hand and pay attention to who they are.
All right. Well, let me tell you, during my district governor year, I pushed really hard on embracing new Lions. And what I would tell people is, to dovetail on what Denise was saying, is that maybe we've said no to things many, many times. Maybe we've done this certain project before and it just didn't work. Well, that could have been 20 years ago. And if a new member comes in and says, I want to do this thing, the best thing you can do is not say no. Embrace that and let them run with it, because the minute they feel connected, they're going to be a better member of your club, and they're going to want to stay if they feel connected. Real quick, and I didn't put this in the notes, but Denise reminded me. Is there any member? And I can't see everybody. Is there any member from Seal Beach in California here? Has anybody been to a Seal Beach meeting? Because I have, and it is the most amazing thing. They're about 400 strong. They're the largest Lions club, at least in California, if not maybe in the constitutional area. But it was a packed venue, and there were people, standing room only, and they didn't have a meal, they didn't have drinks, they didn't have anything. They just had the board sitting up front and people standing around. And when a new person would come in, they would say, what floats your boat? What gets you excited? Well, this. Well, go ahead and find somebody else who wants to do that. You go do that and come back and report to us.
I'm
next,
out.
next.
Keep going.
Oh, wow,
Keep going, Adam.
we went all over. But they said next. And it was wonderful to watch. Everybody felt involved. So that's just a little side note. I want you to write something down if you have the ability. And if you haven't gone here, you probably have, but if you haven't, I suggest that you go to lionsvirtual.org, because you're going to want to maybe look this up and come up with your own program. And if you go in there and you go to Market to Grow and you you type in, give me an outline of an orientation onboarding program, it will spit out everything you have to do. It is absolutely wonderful. The components of a successful onboarding program are to welcome people in, to let them know the mission, assign them somebody that helps them through this, a mentorship program. Let it be somebody that has been there for a little while, understands all the things that we're doing. They don't have to be the most senior person. In my club, that guy's asleep sometimes. So, but people that understand what's going on and have a passion for Lions, assign them a mentor in that respect. Involvement, give them something to do, regardless of how small it is, and listen to them. If they say that they want to do the marketing, fantastic. Man, my club could use that in the worst way. So we just look for, and you should look for, people that are excited about what they can do and what they can offer. And the last is follow up. Make sure that you don't just throw them in the pool and see if they can swim. You make sure that they can swim, and so you check in on them at a month. It can be whatever the interval you want it to be, but check in on them. Make sure that they're understanding things. They don't feel isolated. They don't feel overwhelmed, because as we all know, you can sit in a Lions Club meeting and hear acronyms that nobody else on earth will know. And so they need some help with that sometimes. And so follow-up is very important. You want to embrace the new ideas, give them a job to do, personalize, and create early opportunities. So again, if there's something that they want to do that floats their boat, that gets them excited, that's what you need to embrace. Don't say no. My club has one project that we do, and I'm really pushing them to do more, because we're getting new members in all the time, and they're going to want to do something more than what we're doing. So anyway, any questions? Any comments? Okay.
Yeah, I can. This is Stan Weitzman from District 4C6 in California. We had our RLI last was it weekend before last weekend, was I? I can't remember, but and Scott Newton and his wife were both attending. Scott is the president of Seal Beach, and when somebody comes in, if they want to do a project, they say, "Go ahead, go do it." And they have 2 or 3 or more projects a week. They're not all on the weekends, and then and if they can help them, they will. And but they let people join the club, and they do what is their passion.
That's exactly right. It was a real eye opener.
So moving along. And so rule number 1 about presentation and with technology, we were laughing about this before, always have a plan B and a plan C. Thank you, Bruce, because the PowerPoint is still queuing up on my Microsoft. That's all I know. So that happens when you live in the woods, like in the woodwoods. Okay, so we're going to be talking a little bit about orientation essentials and how the things that you do want to include, in your orientation process. And then we'll talk a little bit more down the road on, how to different type of orientation formats of sorts. You always want to be able to include the history of Lions, the history of your multiple district, the history of your district, things that clubs in your district are known for. We all have signature projects and service projects, right? As well as also having signature events and fundraisers. So we want to make sure everybody understands that and is encouraged. There you go. Thank you very much. The other is we want to go over club structure and leadership roles. And I've always found it helpful to show from LCI right on down so everybody kind of gets the connection. And LCI has wonderful resources. You can go up there and download the org charts for everything. You could talk about how things work within your district and the multiple district, how we all cross over and work together on various initiatives. You also want to show and share, like I just said previously, what your district, but also your club is known. We all have different signature service projects that we're known for and success stories, and being able to share those little things. While I'm chatting a little bit, if people want to put in the chat box any signature service projects that you're known for, big or small, doesn't need to be like a big or go home kind of thing, but that when they mention the Lions in your community, they go, oh yeah, they know that. Like I'm in Bethany, which is a small rural town outside of New Haven, under 5,000 people. We're basically agricultural, very rural, very laid back. But we also have a 26-week-year flea market that we dovetail, even though it's a fundraiser flea market, we dovetail into it as a service where people can come in and drop eyeglasses, hearing aids, cell phones for, the police to convene or reconfigure, I should say, for battered women. We also use it as a showcase of, hey, while you're coming to our town, come visit our businesses today. So we all have those little projects that we're known for. The other part is what I call little touchable moments. Things like you may have a lion that just goes out there and does something on their own. We actually showcase them, on our Facebook and social media, trying to share their story of individual service. But again, each club is different, but you do want to be able to bring in, I'm a firm believer, if you're going to do an orientation program, although we want to be able to depart our knowledge of Lionism from the ground up, we also want to be able to show what makes us unique and special. So I would always like to be able to bring in some sort of a simple service project. So while they're learning, while they're in fellowship, while they're learning to bond, and you could do this at the district level too, right? Sometimes we've done district level orientation, bring in a service project so people can feel like they're actually contributing to something concrete as a lion. And both as Adam and Denise has said, listen to them. If they join Lions for a passion, I personally believe we have an obligation to make sure they can serve that passion, right? It may not be something that our club does or our district does, but it would be really wonderful to be able to get that opportunity, because I think that does have a direct impact into member satisfaction that ties into retention from that perspective. So our third one is training resources available through Lions Learning. There is so much. Show of hands, how many of you have taken advantage of the different resources in Lions Learning? It is some of the best stuff out there, I just got to tell you. And they have those great learning tracks, and I'm in there all the time. And I'm actually going through the Leo track right now. I find it fascinating. So I'm learning so much. So seriously, try to do those resources. The other resources are also through LCI proper. You can find all sorts of PowerPoints to download, checklists, grids. You just go in there. How many of you have used, I'm going to probably say this wrong, Ellie, the new AI for LCI? How do you like it, Paula? Cool, right? Right? Have you guys found that when you go in there and you ask for something, it like gets it to you like in a snap? Yep. Yep, it's all great. So please definitely try. I'm a big proponent. You got to try Lions AI, and especially when looking for documents. It's easy to use, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. And that's dovetail into all the other Lion AI marketing, and with ChatGPT, it's amazing what you can put together, literally sometimes in the snap of your finger. So please take care of the reading, of researching those training resources, and feel free to email. If you'd like to have help, be more than happy to help, either Adam, Denise, and myself. And then we're going to be going on to the next step of active participation, which at this point, I'm going to dovetail it back over to Denise.
All right, thank you so much. So I talked earlier about adult learners, and we have to take into consideration the way adults learn. And a lot of us can bring experiences to the table, and we need to invite people to share those experiences. We need to focus on relevant and real world applications. And I'll give you another example that happened in our club. We've been several years, gosh, at least 4 or 5. We have a lot of snowbirds. So we go from 80 members down to 30 members in the winter. And we've been saying, gosh, let's do Zoom and bring in all of our snowbirds so that they can still actively participate in what's going on in our club. And I think the word Zoom was scary, or it could have been that the suggestion of Zoom meetings was coming from younger people. And so we went, wait a minute. There's someone who's in our club. She's 77 years old and she trains for the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And she said, hey, Denise, we use Teams for our communication and training within the auxiliary. Do you think we could use that for communication with our snowbirds? And what do you think we said? We said, yes, absolutely. And so we brought Sue, our 77-year-old lion, who, by the way, her husband is one of our charter members, and we're over 50 some years old as a club. But Sue came in and she taught a class to our club of how to use Teams. And guess what? 3 months in a row now, we're using Teams and bringing people in from across the country into our every other week club meetings. So it goes back to focusing on people's strengths, being relevant to your audience of who your members are in your club, and encouraging discussion and reflection and collaboration. And that's the key to having fun. So I'm going to have Adam take over from here.
Okay. Well, let me just say, if you've never belonged to a cigar club, depending on the size of the room you're in, it can get overwhelming. I smoke cigars, and when I go to these meetings, sometimes it is so smoky in there that I have to leave. So our new members came to us and said, we need to have a venue where we don't have to smoke. So now we meet, and because of COVID, we meet online as well. So we meet at the cigar shop. We meet at a local restaurant where there's no smoking and it's family friendly, and we meet online. So you listen to your new members and listen to just every member and figure out what's best for you. So how to implement at a club level? Well, normally I would say decide if there's a need, but I think we all understand there's a desperate need for orientation and onboarding. So that part we can put off to the side. So you just need to go, okay, well, what is it that we need to be teaching them? And that's a lot of that is standard. Now it's going to vary from club to club, obviously, but there are some very basic things that we can all do. And that's kind of what I'm going to cover today. So, and we've talked about a few of these things, but I'm going to go through them at least at surface level. Number one, starts before the first meeting. You send a welcome email or a message. So let me just tell you, we had a gentleman show up at my club 2 weeks ago. And we invited him back, but he didn't get an email from anybody. And so next thing I know, I got an email from him. How he got my email, I'm not really sure, but he did. And he said, I haven't heard anything from anybody. I said, oh man, that's not okay. Thank you for coming. You're invited next week. Please be there. And he was there last night. So it was really helpful for that particular gentleman. First time that's ever happened, though. Have a club contact person, brief overview of what Lions do locally. We have 9 clubs in our area here, and we can talk about all of that. And then it says small gesture idea. Welcome phone call from membership chair or president. Anybody, as long as we reach out to them and say, thank you for showing up, being part of it. Number 2, assign a mentor, like a buddy system. Somebody that can sit with them at meetings and explain acronyms and traditions and procedures. Introduce them to other members. We get so caught up in our meetings sometimes, at least in my meeting, we're very task oriented, very goal oriented. It's all agendized. And sometimes we lose track. So we have to agendize. Hey, let's introduce ourselves to this new person. Give a simple orientation. Keep it short and friendly. About 30 minutes would do. Who are Lions? What your club focuses on? How your meetings work? Who runs that meeting? We meetings do you have? How long does that meeting go? I am very happy to be able to say we meet every week, and we start promptly at 6 and we end promptly at 7 o'clock. So people know exactly what they're in for. Okay. How many members can get involved right away? They suggest a 1-page welcome sheet. Oops, I just lost one of my earbuds. Anyway, a 1-page welcome sheet, you could do that as well. Get them involved immediately. Explain the why. Why do dues matter? Why are we paying dues? If any of you are on the Global Lions Forum, that came up as a topic today on one of the entries, and very interesting feedback on that. Why do we pay dues? Because dues may be increasing in the next year or two. Why meetings follow certain structures? Why service reporting? How many of you have an issue with service reporting? Why is it important? What do we use it for? Who can do it? Can you do it as a Lion, a new member? If they become a brand new member, can they go in and report? Things like that you can talk about. And then checking back in 30, 60, 90 days with them. Ask them, what's your favorite part been so far of being a Lion? Are you confused by anything? How can we help you feel more involved? Those are wonderful questions that we could be asking new members. And the last thing is celebrate early wins. If they do a service project and it's a small one and something maybe we don't normally do, or whatever it is, celebrate them. Do it right in front of the meeting, in front of the other members at a meeting. Let them know that they are appreciated. And also understand it's very important to do an induction. Get them in officially. I mean, they're in officially, but ceremonially, get them in, because that's a big part. People want to know that they're part of something. And if we just say, okay, now you're in, it really doesn't carry the same weight. And lastly, I thought that was lastly. Lastly is ask for feedback. Ask them, what surprised you about your experience in Lions? What's been the most confusing thing? What could we explain better? What could we do better to help you or to help the next person that comes in? Because that's the whole goal of this, is to get people on board and up to speed as quickly as possible, but with the widest range of experiences that we can. So, key takeaway, onboarding does not need to be perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect. What does it need to be? It needs to be intentional. That's all.
Thanks, Adam. I really appreciate it. And I think at this point in time, we have a little bit of breakout room time that we will go out and have some brief discussions for a few moments. And I think Bruce is going to break us out, and we will see you in a couple minutes. Just click the join button when it pops up on your screen. Okay, everybody?
Hi, folks. This is Pat Ryan. I see David Dickinson's name and Bruce Beck's name. Anybody else in our group? There we go. Gary Holloway, Line Bad Newman, Kathy. I'm sorry, Kathy Pisek. You're muted.
Geraldine Ray.
Yeah, but we're not, how many people are, I can hear you, but I haven't got a request to join this room.
I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
in
if I'm
some
in
room.
this room.
No request.
I don't know if I'm in this room. I see Bruce.
Yeah, sometimes you are just dumped into a room, so to speak.
Yes.
You don't have to push a button or anything. Whatever they do to set up break rooms, you just wind up in a break room. So that probably is what happened this time.
We have a
Okay.
great many in this room. What is our assignment?
Yeah, we have a lot.
I see Susan invited me to join room 3. So I'm going to join.
Yes, I agree. What's the assignment?
Well, I'm joining room 2 right now.
Maybe they're just still assigning people. Okay.
All right, I'm going to room 3, or now 2.
Am I in too? Nope, I guess not. All right. Okay, got it. All right.
Hey, Bruce. I was initially invited by Susan to room 1, but then I got kicked out for some reason.
We had fun in our room. Did you guys have fun in your room? All right, everybody's almost back.
Can't hear it. Bruce, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
I bet he got unplugged. Here comes everybody. Breakout room 1 had a great time talking about best practices.
We're back.
Awesome.
There you go.
So if you guys could in the chat share with us one thing that you just learned that you want to take back to your club from what you just learned in your breakout room. Just go ahead and put it in the chat.
We needed about 10 more minutes.
Well, we did. I'll share one of my takeaways, and ours was be intentional in welcoming, in introducing, and getting them a buddy.
Well, I can tell you in our group, we have one club that has an orientation or an orientation program, and they use mentorship a lot, and they felt that was very important. But one of the biggest things was getting them involved in Lions International quickly. Get them into the portal so that they can get in and see what Lions is about and what's out there and available to them. Another suggestion was make sure that if you're a new club, to get a guiding lion.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, one of the things that we want to make sure that we are sharing with all of you is making sure that you have key resources available in your orientation. And one of the things and Sue has mentioned it already, Adam has mentioned several. The one thing that I haven't heard us talk yet about tonight, do you guys know what I mean when I say club quality initiative? Yes? No? I'm getting some yeses and some nos. Well, you can find it out on our Lions International site. And if you just go into the search engine and you look for search club quality initiatives, it's a strategic planning tool to help clubs identify opportunities and to improve. And it's by understanding your current operation, identifying areas that you might need to improve, and taking measures step by step to accomplish your new goals and objectives. So I really encourage you guys to go ahead and look that document up and follow that process, because the other thing that we've heard so far too in some of these breakout rooms is that it's not everything is working. We're not doing a great job in onboarding. We're not doing a great job in orientation. So there's tools out there, and I highly recommend that you use the Club Quality Initiative, because it will help you walk through those conversations with your club members or the leaders of your club to be able to help get that done. So at this point, we are going to turn it over to Adam and
Denise.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, can I make a comment on the quality initiative?
Yeah.
We used it about 2 or 3 years ago with a club that I'm an associate member of now, and that club the people in the club evaluated their club, and none of them thought the club would be around in 5 years. Okay, so once
it worked.
Yeah, and so we were able to use that to make changes, and so now they were at about 12 members. Now they're up to about 27 members. So it works, and it made them take everybody. There was one leader who was adamant about keep on running things the way he wanted to do them, and and so he finally conceded that the club needed to change based upon that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Stan. It works. The tools are out there. We just need to, one, we need to know that they're there, and two, we need to use them.
All right. Well, folks, I really just want to add, I want you to commit to taking one action step, not creating the entire program necessarily, taking one action step towards creating this onboarding and orientation program within your club. Does anybody, if you want to put in the chat, or you want to just raise your hand and say, what were some of the action steps that you think that you could take going forward? Just one thing you could do that would maybe get you started down that road. Anybody? Well, that's okay. So let me remind you that
Adam.
Oh, go.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to make sure my club has somebody designated to be the onboarding person.
Mm-hmm.
If you just say, somebody ought to do it, then it probably won't get done. There needs to be somebody authorized and designated and know that's their duty. They don't have to do the whole thing all by themselves, but they can get other people to help. But somebody's got to be in charge.
Well, let me dovetail onto that and say, don't always give it to the same, that if your club's like, if your guys' clubs are like anything like mine, the same 8 people do the majority of the work. I mean, we hear that all the time. Let's give it to somebody else that seems excited about this or willing to do it. Don't be afraid to give it to them. You may be surprised in what you get. Anyone else? All right. Well, thanks, Pat. Hey, so just make it a small step, but as long as you're making consistent improvements in it, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. Small, consistent improvements leads to higher retention and higher engagement by all of your members.
May I say something?
Yeah.
So I think, at least for me, we have a small club, and I think that as far as onboarding, I think every member needs to be involved too, in some way of when someone comes in and they're sitting down, and every member can help in what do I want to say? Introducing something that they know to that new member and say, well, this is what we've done and this is what worked, and I participated as well, or so on. But I think that every member needs to be involved in the onboarding process so that they get to know really what the club is all about, and they also get that interaction from other people.
Great feedback. I really want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in telling their story too.
Yeah,
it makes such an impact when current members tell their story about Lions and what Lions means to them. Make sure that we're doing that.
Yeah.
I did that the other day I was on a cruise of all places, and I was sitting next to a lady, and I was talking about why I will never quit Lions. And I told her a story. And when I was done, she was crying. And I'm telling you, we can have such an impact on people. Just don't be afraid to be yourself and tell your story, because you never know how it's going to impact the next person.
I did that in a club in a zone sharing meeting one time, and no, it was a club visit, and I didn't expect what I got. It was so amazing. Everyone started in with their story. I couldn't believe it. I figured there would be nothing.
Well, and I don't know how many people are on this call, but there are that many individual why I'm a Lion stories.
Yeah.
And what Lions means to me stories.
Mm-hmm.
Sue, you're on mute.
What else technology could happen today? I'm not muted. So Lion, Barbara, and Adam, thank you very much. We only have a few minutes till we're up to the top of the hour. So I I put in the chat box all of our email addresses. So if there's anything that you need or questions, please feel free to email. We do have some resource material. I just really want to quickly tell you that how many of you have actually liked Lions USA on Facebook? Have you gone to the Lions USA YouTube and seen all the previous recorded LCI, LCIF, tons of information out there. That's a huge resource for you, as well as the resources that we have for Lions Clubs International as well. I have a lot to share with you, but in the interest of time, I just may not get to it. So if you email me, I will send you tons of stuff. So you have some quick guides. Please make sure to sure that you tie in social media. Make sure, if you go to LCI, they have tips for you for there. Download their marketing branding kit. They actually can help you with orientation and developing. There are grants for you. How many of you have ever used grants for membership and stuff, right? Okay. That's the best kept secret, right? So, get out there and get those monetary resources. Every district, a multiple district area, area and CA area has leadership folks that can help you in anything that you need. Your past district governors, your past council chairs, we're all here at the same time to help and have resources. And the most important thing I really think in all of this, as much as you're orienting your new members into Lions and into our community and your community, is that it has to be fun for you. It has to be fun for them. Don't feel afraid to be outside the box. Be kind of kooky about it. Don't be all serious. I mean, we're here. There's fun. Like, that's right, Denise. So, there's fun in service, right? And there's fun in doing all this stuff. So don't let it always weigh you down saying, oh my God, we got to do this. Because I just got to tell you, it's lots of fun. And when we do it together, we do make a lot of lasting friendships. So email either Adam, Denise, or myself. And you're right, Dick. It's got to be fun. At the end of the day, it's got to be fun. And always keep smiling.
I want to say thank you all to our fabulous faculty. Let's give them a hand for tonight's presentation. And any background boo-boos in the breakout room, I thought I set it to auto, but apparently it wasn't. And so that's on me. But
and
you know what, we got there. So, but thank you all for making your time to come here. Again, you can watch the video on or share the video if you want on the Lions YouTube channel. Or if you contact me or any of the facilitators, we'll mail you the slides to the PowerPoint deck. And next month's Wisdom Wednesday is going to be the 6 core values of leadership. So whether you have a committee, a board of directors, a zone, whatever you have, if you want to keep your leadership trail on track, stop in next month and we have the 6 core values of Lions leadership. And with that, I want to say thank you all and have a great evening.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.